In today's episode of the Pathmonk Presents podcast, I have a very interesting guest with me here today. I'm with Nimia Amaya, and she is heading over from Yooz, USA, and she's actually the Senior Marketing Director for Americas. So very interesting, very exciting market that she's focusing on, obviously. We're going to be learning, what the folks are doing over there, who they're serving, and how Nimia thinks about digital marketing. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Very
Excited
cool.
to be here.
Very good. Maybe, give us your personal perspective. What is Yooz all about? Maybe in a couple of, words for everybody who hasn't heard about it.
Yeah, Yooz is a global company. We are in the software as a service subscription model, and we offer account payables automation software to really help account payables professionals become more strategic in their role and help them eliminate a lot of the manual and repetitive tasks that really keep them from doing, unleashing their creativity and strategic views for their role. So we're in the business of saving people time. We're in the business of saving people money. And we do that all through account payables automation.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Makes a whole lot of sense. Could you tell us, and maybe to the listeners a little bit, like who would be sort of the typical clients so that they can envision, who is using the software and why?
Absolutely. We are industry agnostic, meaning we service all industries or verticals. Any company that has to pay invoices, that has a controller, that has a rate with more than 250 ERPs or accounting financial systems. So really, we are very, very accessible. We work with small to medium companies. And all you need is we have a minimum of 100 invoices. So if your company processes a minimum of 100 invoices a month, you can work, our solution is for you. If you process 20,000 invoices, our solution is also for you. So really, we are available to anyone who wants to streamline their account payables process.
Yeah, makes sense. Would that be, who would typically be bringing in the solution? Is that like a head of finance in the bigger companies or an accountant, or is it sometimes the business owner, even in smaller businesses, who typically, picks up and says,
yeah.
Hey, I need that?
We definitely target both. We have to target the chief financial officers. Obviously, usually in big companies, they are the decision makers. But then we also work with smaller companies where the decision maker is the AP manager. Maybe they don't have a CFO. The AP manager or the controller is the one who gets to make the decision. So really, it just depends on how big the company is. And obviously, we have different pitches. When we pitch it to the end user, who is going to be the controller or the AP clerk, we pitch it as in like, this isn't going to replace your job. It's going to enhance your job. It's going to make it better by automating the tasks that could save you so much time, add to your work-life balance, and really help you be happier in your role. We market it to the CFOs and the chief accounting officers as well, as in by paying your invoices on time, you're eliminating, a single invoice can take up to 20 days to process. With Yooz, our solution, it can take hours. So you're eliminating your pay. If you pay early, a lot of third-party vendors will give you discounts as well. So really, you can offset the cost of investing in Yooz and save some money in the process. So that, for them, is how much return of investment am I going to get by investing in Yooz? So really, there's different pitches, but it just depends on how big or how small the company is. Yeah.
I see. And you as a senior marketing director, like how do you, especially having that different personas, let's say, right? The smaller businesses, or the chief financial officers and the larger businesses, how do you think about the journey of somebody, hearing about Yooz and getting started? Like maybe what would be the sort of the typical client acquisition channels that you guys are using?
Yeah, we are. I'm a believer of educating. Our product can seem a little complex. So we first try to educate our audience by letting them know about account payables automation in general. Honestly, automation has become just so the new thing in everything. You want to automate, you want to make your job easier. So in order for us to sell our product, we do a lot of thought leadership, a lot of blogging, a lot of, like, for example, coming to a podcast, a lot of education as to why you even need automation in the first place. To streamline account payables. And then we add in by the way, Yooz just so happens to offer the smartest, most powerful solution for account payables. Yeah, but definitely a lot of educating our audience about the need of the industry.
That makes sense. That's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with that content, thought leadership, obviously, you know, people coming to the websites. We talk about websites in the Pathwing podcast quite a bit. Maybe tell me in your own perspective, like what is the role of the website for Yooz, and what's your personal perspective? Like, where do you see its strengths? Where do you see room for improvement? Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, our website has actually gone through a transformation. When I first started working at Yooz, we had a website that had a very weak infrastructure. So it wasn't designed to handle the amount of traffic that we expect and want. So we actually launched a whole new website that we currently have right now in February of 2020. And it's improved vastly. We had to go and basically start from scratch. And there was a lot of blogs and content that was not SEO optimized. So we are now going into the optimizing all of our content. And that was something that wasn't done previously by previous marketing leaders. But now, I believe in innovating. In marketing, you have to innovate or you get left behind. So it was a matter of just getting a website, one, to be inviting, to be easy to navigate for our client, for our prospects, but also to handle the traffic and again, educating our audience. So having a lot of great content out there, a lot of great webinars. We have an on-demand library of webinars, of blogs, pretty much anything we can, video marketing, of course, as well. But yeah, I would say the strength of our website is that we are finally optimizing it for SEO.
Very cool. Very cool. And where do you see room for improvement? I know every marketer is always itchy to, get the next level, get the website to the next level. Where do you see things going?
Well, for once, I know we're a global company. So we not only do we have different personas, buyer personas that we market to, but we have different markets. We have the UK, we're present in Nimia, and our company is very strong. It's a very strong brand in France. And then in the US, we've only been in the US for 6 years. So we're still not technically an emerging market, but we are still working to establish our brand authority. And then also, one of the biggest things is for us to kind of branch off and have our own website that's not using English content that's for the UK, that's focused for the US. So that's my biggest thing that I'm pushing for, is to have a US focused website that is marketing and it's localized for this market, for the Americas, for North America. And then also, as you mentioned, I am leading the marketing team for the Americas. That includes Latin America. We're going to have a website as well. We're currently in Spain, but we are going to branch out into Latin America. And again, just because we're Spanish speakers doesn't mean that it doesn't need to be localized for Latin American Spanish. So again, having a different website that's very focused to LATAM. So that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Gotcha.
Improvement.
Makes sense. So branching out into the different markets and then really localizing and personalizing the experience for that types of users that you're experiencing there. Okay, I see. Let's say switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about marketing a little bit in general. You've been in different marketing roles over the last years. You've been a marketing specialist for quite a while, and then regional marketing director, now heading up a senior as a senior marketing director. What do you find is sort of the challenge when it comes to bringing in innovation into marketing? What would you find? What is the biggest obstacle when you say, hey, I want to bring in innovation to this year right now? Like, what do you typically experience?
I think the biggest challenge is you have to convince the stakeholders in the company that it's the right time to invest. For example, again, we do a lot of outbound lead generation, and we want to go towards inbound and have a healthy balance of inbound and outbound. But for example, I'll give you an example of PR. We didn't have a PR agency. We don't have the strongest brand authority right now, and I pushed for it. We just this year decided to we just signed a contract offer with a PR agency, one of the top agencies in the US, to help us get our brand authority where it needs to be. We had to put a healthy investment of money there. But in order to do that, I had to convince the stakeholders to buy in. This is why we need to innovate. We need to put in the money that's going to build a foundation that's going to bring us those healthy leads that we want organically. So again, anytime I wanted to do something, I always say this in marketing, you have to market yourself internally. Yeah. We market the brand, but we have to market our activities internally so that we can say, this is what marketing is doing. This is how much work we're putting into. The fruits of our labor may not be immediate, but they're coming. So again, just getting that buy-in from the stakeholders, from the CEO, the board of directors, the investors, and getting a healthy budget to be able to innovate.
Makes sense.
That's the challenge.
Makes sense. And you mentioned outbound and inbound and the relationship of the two of them. Conversion optimization in both of the channels is important, right? Like, converting from the website or converting from cold outreach to somebody actually signing up. What do you see the biggest challenge, sort of, maybe if you compare inbound and outbound, and where's your mindset on when it comes to conversion optimization?
Yeah, conversion is definitely a challenge. I think all companies face this. For example, outbound is a little bit harder. We educate them. We have an industry paper that we sponsor or something like that, a white paper. They come in, a lot colder. We usually have our SDRs sum them up, and then they go to an account executive who will then try to close the deal. That is a long journey. That usually takes about 30 to 90 days just to, continue to nurture that lead. So that's those are a little bit tougher to convert, of course. The inbound leads, they are more organic, especially when it comes from like web organic or web direct traffic. They come in, already know a little bit, they have a healthy amount of knowledge about Yooz. We don't have to basically break it down from as if they were someone that's never heard of account payables automation. So it's obviously easier to convert an inbound lead than it is an outbound lead. But they still require a healthy amount of effort.
Makes sense. Super interesting. I mean, very interesting.
And it's definitely a challenge. Definitely a challenge.
Sure it is. Sure it is. I mean, that's why tons of tools, marketers, and podcasts are out there to educate, each other on what is going on and what people are doing. So really, really good. I want to, slowly wrap it up since the interview is coming slowly to an end. I want to, learn a little bit about yourself with a couple of rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
Yes, let's do it.
What's the last book that you read?
The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And funny story, I've read that book over 5 times. I absolutely love it. Every time I read it, I get a different perspective from it. Amazing book.
It is. I've read it myself. I enjoy it. It's very cool. What is one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Product innovation. We just released our new UX, user experience, to make our product even more customizable and easier to use. We call that Yooz Rising. And we are about, I can't say a whole lot yet, but we're about to unleash an add-on product called Yooz Pay that should be coming out and launching in July. So we are always innovating at Yooz.
Very cool. If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing you want to have fixed for your role today?
Automation. Again, I believe in automation in general. I want to make my job as, I want to work smart, not hard. I want to automate, like, for example, right now we're working on automating our reviews. How do we get people to leave us reviews? How do we convert our customers into advocates? And how do we do that using technology? I am very technology driven. I'm always looking for the next gadget, the next app, the next tool my company can use and invest in to make our jobs better and easier and more advanced. So always, like I said, we're always innovating within the role. I personally am always trying to educate myself on the latest and greatest, especially when it comes to technology. But I think automating processes is the best one.
Very cool. And to wrap it up, the last question. If today would be your very first day working with Yooz, what's the one advice that you would give yourself?
To stop second guessing myself. that would be my first advice. You know, I don't have a degree in marketing. My degree is actually in radio, television, film. You know, so I have a background in broadcast journalism, and I actually self-taught myself marketing. I did courses online, which I think is a great thing. But the best advice I can give myself is to believe in myself and stop second guessing myself. Just because I don't have a degree in marketing doesn't mean that I don't know how to do the job. Thankfully now I'm very confident in my role, in the skills that I have and the skill sets that I bring. But that would be the advice that I would give myself, to be more confident.
I think that's very encouraging for a lot of the listeners out there. So really appreciate you bringing that up. So I want to wrap it up for today. I really appreciate that you took the time, Nimia, to tell us a little bit more about Yooz. I want to give you the very last word, right? Like, if people would be forgetting all that we discussed about Yooz today, what's the one thing that they should remember?
For Yooz, you should remember, definitely go check out our website. You know, having to chase down, you know, accounting, have they paid this invoice for you? Have they paid this vendor? Yooz is out there to simplify your life. So if you want help with that, definitely check out our website. Feel more than happy to reach out. You know, I'm not a salesperson. I can't speak technology, but I can tell you that our product is the best product out there. It is designed to make your life easier, to bring in that work-life balance. If you have accounting friends, have them check out Yooz. Have them come check out our website and check out our product. And I believe you, it'll be a life changer.
Very cool. Thanks for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
Of course, I was delighted. Thank you so much for having me.